It's the Movie Toasty Show, here for you. Dennis and Adam joke about orgasms and sweet movie reviews. We talk about TV too, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah! Movie Toast.
Hey, what is up, Toaster Adam?
Not too much, Dennis. How's it going? Welcome, everybody, to episode 212 of Movie Toast News and Reviews. And this is our very special Getting High with Jesus episode, folks, because it happens to be the week before Easter and 420, both on the same day. And yet we're not going to talk about weed or Jesus at all for the remainder of the show, most likely. How you doing, Dennis?
True. I'm doing pretty good. Could be more stoned, I suppose, but that's okay. No, it's funny. I kept forgetting that those things were lining up, and I just chose movies as they found appealing for me this week and didn't try to theme them. And I'm like, maybe a missed opportunity. But you know what? I think in the past, I feel like I've kind of hit the main or like the more popular 420 movies. I don't like to watch the Easter movies, but you know, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, hey. People aren't coming here for themes. They're coming here for things like news and polls and current movies and retro movies. They don't care about what the theme is. It doesn't matter.
There you go. You're right.
But we got a lot to talk about here. But maybe we can start off with our little segment we like to call news.
Gather round, folks. It's time for the scoop. Tune your ears in, let's join the loop.
All right, folks. Up first, should movie tickets be cheaper during the week? Well, at CinemaCon, the head of Sony Pictures, Tom Rothman, urged theater owners to lower ticket prices during the week to replicate the success of Discount Tuesdays. What do you think about this, Dennis?
I definitely. It's not like it's that easy, I feel, especially for like a family or, groups of people to go see movies during the week. So why not at least give a little bit more incentive for people to show up? And people might start coming back. It's already too crowded on the weekends anyways, as we've seen recent events. Movie theaters get crazy on the weekends.
Sometimes.
So I don't know. I think that's a great idea.
It's crazy.
The more common thing.
I never really thought about how important Discount Tuesdays were, because I normally go on the weekends, and theaters are normally dead on the weekends. But over the past 2 weeks since we've last recorded, I went to 2 different theaters on a Tuesday 2 weeks ago, fucking packed, jammed houses. Wow. And then I went last Tuesday, pretty decent. So it's like, why not do it?
Yeah. It's absolutely. Crazy. Yeah. I
because
agree.
Tom Rothman said, we can either let it be a negative or positive. Why not let it be a positive? And apparently a couple of theater chains have kind of agreed to it loosely, and hopefully more will jump on board with that. And
nice.
Within the next few years, maybe it won't cost $150 to go to the movies for a family of 4.
Right. Exactly.
Hopefully.
No, that's the dream anyways. That'd be nice. Get butts
like to
back
think
in the
so.
seats again. Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, stunt performers finally are getting the recognition they deserve. Yes. In 2027, the 100th Oscar ceremony will take place, and now they're adding stunt performers to the list of eligible winners. I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, as they should. I remember when we were at, was that Comic-Con or WonderCon?
Probably WonderCon.
Yeah, when they were talking about damn it, I can't think of
Fall Guy.
Yes, they were talking about the Fall Guy, and that specific topic came up, and it's like, that's amazing. There's no reason why that department shouldn't get the recognition it deserves. There's movies that take so much advantage of that team and put so much pressure on them to pull off the look of a film that 100% they need to have their own award. So awesome. Now, I'm curious to see who's going to get the first. That'll be exciting. That'll be exciting.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And it's like, these people are the only ones that truly put themselves in harm's way and could potentially die on set doing their job, unlike any other person working on a set.
Right.
But I'm more sad at the fact that when you think about it, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and repeatedly so. Like, that's their job. Every time they show up to work, it's dangerous. But they make the stars look freaking awesome, you know?
True. Speaking of freaking awesome, we recently found out that Spider-Man 4 has a new title. It's going to be called Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm curious about, sorry. I just know of some references in the comics. That title immediately brings to mind. So I'm curious if that's the route they're going to take. Because
the 2008 comic, they undid Spider-Man and Mary Jane's wedding and whatnot in the Amazing Spider-Man storyline. And that went on for some time. And the way they end it, No Way Home, it's like you kind of go in that direction, but we know that these MCU movies will take titles and then manipulate it or have nothing to do with the original source material.
Exactly.
So
it could just be a little cue for the comic fans to like, oh, okay, you're acknowledging this thing happened. But that's a good point, though. As far as where the story lands, I don't know if it would make much sense to then do the whole reversing all these events, which it's like, because we've seen it happen so many times before already throughout the MCU, do you really want to see it again? So I could see them totally sidestepping that one.
Yeah. Up next, it looks like Dune Messiah might have found its villain in an unlikely source, with Robert Pattinson coming on as the villain Sickletail. I don't know what the fuck how to pronounce that name, but Rob Pattinson as a villain. What do you think?
I think that guy can do whatever the hell he wants to, really. He's got the chops. If he can be freaking Bruce Wayne and Southern Reverend in the 1930s or whatever that took place. Freaking vampire, he can be a villain in a Dune movie. I don't doubt that for a second. The guy has proven it time and time again he can do it. So let him have it.
Hell yeah. Next up in casting news, it looks like Sydney Sweeney might be joining a renowned anime because she is in talks to star in Legendary's upcoming live-action Gundam movie.
Badass. I'm here for that.
Right?
I'm curious, so I know there's all these different eras and stuff in the Gundam universe. If we're starting, up at the beginning of the anime series, why not? It makes sense. You have all this political motivations. She's already kind of looks like an anime character anyways. Perfect.
True.
I think that's
I don't know why this one caught me off guard so much, because when I think of her, I guess she doesn't really have one genre that she sticks to.
Exactly.
And she's an actress who could do anything, it feels like. So why not something like this?
Yeah, totally agree. I'm curious what the rest of the cast will be forming around her, though. That'll be interesting.
Right.
And
see if they're
of
her caliber.
I mean, this is a big movie. The giant robot,
you got to do it right.
Genre is badass, and this one specifically too. I just remember the visuals just being so visceral and just the action being so brutal. But then the drama was intense too, and that was interesting as well. So I'm looking forward to this one for you.
100%. This one is on my docket of things to definitely check out when it releases.
There we go.
All right, up next, Death Stranding is getting the big screen treatment. It looks like the director of A Quiet Place Day One and Pig is set to write and direct a Death Stranding film for A24. Have you? This is when he has to deliver a baby, right?
Delivers lots of stuff. In fact, I got it on sale one time and I started playing it. I'm like, okay, this is kind of fun. And about 2 hours into it, I'm like, holy shit, this is a slog. And then my friend started teasing me. It was like, oh, so you downloaded FedEx the game? Because you are literally carrying boxes from place to place, over rocks, away from monsters. But literally, you're just running with boxes on your back, trying not to fall over.
And that's why I'm surprised. I remember people were excited as hell for this game, and like you said, once you get into it, it's like, oh, why do I want this? And it's like, okay, well, why is this getting a film adaptation? It makes no sense.
Hideo Kojima is, the guy is finally, I think, getting recognition he should be getting. This is what happens when you just let him run unrestrained and make a game. And coming off the tail of the last Metal Gear Solid game he was involved with, where he basically like cut off the end of it as kind of a fuck you to Sony, because they didn't give him they didn't give him the creative control he wanted and the budget that he wanted. So he's just like, all right, then I'm going to deliver an unfinished game and people are going to like it. And they did. I did.
But that's the surprising thing. Why not do the Metal Gear Solid movie? Everyone's been clamoring for that.
Because I think that right there is the issue. I don't think Kojima can ever be attached to new Metal Gear stuff from here on out. He's like, I think he tossed it back to Sony. He's like, all right, fine. You guys ruined my game series. And that's why he turned and made something entirely new with like incredible
that is the thing,
talent attached to it.
The game's beautiful, I've heard, right?
It looks beautiful.
Visually
it's very
pleasing.
Immersive. There's a lot of like little nuanced things you have to pay attention to, you know, climbing over different elevations and stuff like that and plotting out your route. Like there's a lot of thought that goes into the gameplay of it. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's just not something that I didn't get far enough into it. I should give it another chance. But I honestly think this could work pretty well as a movie, especially, let's be honest, the cast is already there.
It has to be Norman Reedus. Everyone else.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. I think that's the only way to do it is if you actually get the cast from the game to then be in all of the movie. I mean, that would be first of its kind. Like that hasn't been done before, really. So that would be cool. Ironically, I would go watch the Death Stranding movie. I think before I finish the game.
And they'll make it more dynamic because, of course, you're going to have that 3-act structure, and they'll probably be wanting even more from that.
And just crazy visuals, like just the mind of Kojima is just an incredible thing. So I'd love to see how they work together, how he works on his story is going to play on screen. So especially being so visually oriented, anyways, it's going to look cool. At the very least, it's going to look cool.
For sure. All right, up next. Michael Giacchino, the renowned composer, is following up his directing gig on Werewolf by Night by remaking the classic 1954 sci-fi giant mutant ant movie, Them, over at Warner Brothers.
Yeah. I think we watched this in David Johnson's class, actually.
Would not be shocked. Cool. Such a perfect director. Seeing the effort he put into that Marvel one-off special, I think he can make something special with this. Like, great choice.
Yeah. Very much like it's like War of the Worlds, but with a little bit more of a weird twist instead of it just being the scary aliens invading. It's, wait a minute, I recognize what this creature is here on Earth. Why is it this size?
Yes.
And why is it, I like that as sort of intrigue to it. And that'd be badass. Especially the very unconventional monster movies like giant ants. How would you explain away that happening in a modern setting? That would be cool.
The only thing that I can think of kind of mirroring that might be like either Tremors or what's it called? The David Duchovny or Orlando Jones movie, Evolution.
Yeah, Evolution. Yes. No, good point. Actually, yeah, Evolution is, for as cheesy as that movie is, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is nice and tidy in the explanation of what's going on. How we accomplish it, hosing them down and head and shoulders is a little ridiculous, but hey, whatever works.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Barbie and Ken are going to be pulling a heist together. I know we were wondering for a while if the Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Ocean's 11 prequel was ever going to happen, because it seems like there's been major developments in another Clooney Pitt Ocean's film. But it seems like Sony is doubling down and they're developing both of these movies. And I'm kind of excited to see this. I think it could be a fun pairing.
At that point, why not? You look at the John Wick universe and stuff where you have multiple series and things cracking off while movies are still coming out and things. Why not get the prequel as well as another sequel further down the line?
Right.
I think it works just fine, especially with that cast. They're gonna, they're gonna
hit it out of the
get
park.
some people to show up to watch that thing for sure.
Definitely. Speaking of sequels, don't say his name 3 times, Dennis. After the success of Beetlejuice, of course, Warner Brothers has finally announced there's a third one in development. Who could have seen that coming?
Well, come on. That was as the name of the previous movie implied. We got to do a third one and send the whole thing out. I like the irony of then making every moviegoer now follow through and have to do the Beetlejuice.
But where do you go in a fourth one? Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
I don't know.
Beetlegeese.
Yeah, actually start that off. Oh man.
Beetlejuices too. Like what?
Right.
It's actually.
I hope he goes Hawaiian eventually. Oh man,
God,
that'd be something.
That'd be funny. I want him to meet the cartoon character version of himself.
Oh, that'd be something, dude. Yeah, it's the Beetlejuice fucking Spider-Verse, the Beetleverse, the Juiceverse.
You're pretty good looking.
Oh man. All right, speaking sequels, the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie hasn't even hit theaters yet, but DreamWorks is so positive that this is going to be a slam dunk. They've already gone ahead and greenlit a sequel and gave it a release date of June 11th, 2027.
Holy shit.
They're not wasting any time here.
Well, I mean, that's fair to say. I did work on I worked on the toy commercial for the toys for this film's release earlier this year, and the footage that they were using to blend in with the play style of the toy, it looked really cool. And I'm not like a huge How to Train Your Dragon head, so I don't have it all like down pat, but there were visuals I recognized, much like those of you who are watching along with the stream right now. That scene from the animated version is 100% in the live action movie, as well as of several other highlighted moments. But it does, making it more human, let's be honest, is going to have some more depth that I don't think the
animation.
Now that the animation has aged this much and it's been so long, it's, don't get me wrong, it's still a joy to go back and watch if you were wanting to watch that.
Definitely.
But I think it's something worth exploring to do this live action one. So
now they have screened it at CinemaCon and reviews are stellar. The only issue here is people are saying it's pretty much a shot-for-shot remake of the original. So I'm wondering if they're going to do the whole trilogy shot-for-shot, or if maybe they'll take some creative, I don't want to say decency, or creative swings with the sequel.
Yeah, maybe start branching off as they go further down the line a little bit. Like, let's be honest, a lot of movies based on literature end up doing that. So it wouldn't surprise me if a movie based on another movie ends up doing that too, just to keep it spicy, just to keep it all interesting.
Yeah. And people the press has gone to the new Universal in Orlando. I forget what they're calling it. But there is a Burke, How to Train Your Dragon Land, and I hear there's this adorable animatronic Toothless that comes out, and apparently you can immerse yourself in this world. So cool. I feel like Universal is really banking on this being a hit.
Oh, for sure. I could totally see them leaning into it. Hey, maybe that's what they'll end up doing with some of the expansions at Universal Hollywood.
True.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Nice.
They've been mirroring each other a lot more lately, I feel like.
Well, that's the thing. This is actually a whole separate park away from the other parks. So, I mean, it'd be nice. Maybe get another park in Los Angeles. That'd be kind of fun.
Interesting. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Wow. Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. Speaking of beating a dead horse, it looks like Drew Goddard is going to be taking the red pill because he is going to be directing and writing another Matrix movie that's being produced by Lana Wachowski.
Oh,
I don't know how I feel about this. I wanted to like the fourth one. I wanted to, but it was too meta and too weird. Too hard to follow in my book.
And it wasn't like you've built up this incredible world. You've built up this badass fucking Superman-like character. Beyond that, in fact, like this is like
you changed the game of action movies.
And then to make a sequel where you then literally strip everything away. This isn't a video game where I need to build my character again from level 1 just because it's the sequel. No, Neo is Neo. Like,
he's the one. You don't gotta fuck with that.
Why do we need to then rewrite the story? Oh, fuck that.
That's where I'm going. I feel like this should be a hard reboot, not a meta movie, just a reboot. Give us something new, similar, but new. Don't fuck with the formula that already works. Do something original.
I don't even think it's necessary for it to reboot the story so much as you look at the shorts available in the Animatrix.
Yeah, maybe live in that world somewhere else.
Yes, there's so many other potential stories that could be told in that world. Go for it. Like this, I like the idea of the people who are seeing through the veil, like the sprint runner in that one.
Yeah,
the kids that find the glitched out house, and there's so many of these other stories that they could just be a piece of something else bigger, which as it is already, obviously. Not to mention, there's other crews and other people. They aren't the only ones who are trying to do all that.
That's true. Enough for a rave and an orgy and all those egg sacks. Yeah. Why not, folks? I'm with you. That's so true. And I feel like Drew Goddard is a good writer and a decent director. Why not let him flex his muscles a bit and give us something fresh in this world?
Right.
Although I don't know if you saw the story, Lawrence Fishburne has been doing press for The Amateur, and it looks like he wanted to be in the fourth Matrix movie. He even offered his services, and they rejected him. Like, how do you do that? I mean, yes, Neo did die, I think, but they have a different Neo in that movie, so why not just bring him back? Like, what the fuck? Why?
I don't know. That's just it's one of those. I try to forget that one existed. I mean, they did a better job writing the Enter the Matrix video game.
The video game, yeah,
that was great, and the story blended in perfect. We don't need to keep.
I'm with our watcher Jordan DeRoja. He says it's like a meta reboot, and it's like, why not? That could be fun. Why not? I'm down for that.
Yep,
100%. Well, speaking of I guess you can say Keanu Reeves verse. We talked about the fact that there's going to be an animated something in the world of John Wick, but now we know it's going to be an anime. Not only that, it's a prequel, and we're going to see John Wick complete his impossible task, which is how he got out of being the assassin and become just a husband. So I feel like this could be really, really good. Really fun, because that was one night of him killing all his enemies. Like that anime, perfect way to do it, I think.
And let's be honest, it'll keep the budget down and it'll keep the action up. You can tell more stories in a form like this. So I could totally see that. I also think that presentation just allows so much more freedom, especially with a known property, as long as you're the type of audience member that can forgive it going from live action to animated on a whim, depending on which thing you're watching, then why not? I should be able to just jump in and enjoy something like that. And I think that's a great way to present it to the audience. So, hopefully the hardcore John Wick fans are all on board for seeing something animated.
Yeah,
like that.
Time will tell, I suppose. Speaking of the hardcore fans, I'm very confused here because they have announced Chapter 5 is coming. And it's like, no spoilers here, but something happened at the end of John Wick Chapter 4 that would imply we're done with that.
He's unalived. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Who knows how much of it isn't flashbacks, or if it's we're time jumping to like earlier things when he was around, up to wherever our present characters are that are still around, and they're talking about his exploits, or who the fuck knows? Yeah. Or he just straight up did, or he's just alive. I don't know. I
mean, yes, technically they showed his grave, but they never showed him in the grave, so that makes sense.
I always subscribe to that school of thought. If I don't see the body, if I don't see the death on screen, then there's always room for them to come back. So
now I heard one person say it should be John Wick in hell, and he has to like fight the devil, and the devil's really his wife. I don't know, man. That'd be fun watching John Wick dead.
Comes down and
crossing all of the over.
Has to. I need your help on Earth.
Oh man. Speaking of relevant things. Oh no, I hit it too quick. Speaking of relevant things, Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema have finally agreed to let Ice Cube do a Fourth Friday movie. He's been trying to do this for years, and it's finally happening.
I'd say, I feel like although yes, it's been talked about for years. One of the hangups is always like making sure that script is going to be just right and line up with where they are like in their lives.
Well, that's the thing. He's had the script perfect, he said multiple times, but they've said no. But now the guy who was in charge of New Line when he made the original, is now running Warner Brothers. So he's excited to see it happen, which is nice.
Nice.
But it's like, where are you going to go? This is like, what, maybe 20 years, 25 years since Friday After Next? Are they parents? It's still going on.
They could be almost grandparents, really. Like you could have them like that could be the setup, is the grandbaby. Now like they're trying to watch a kid for the day or something, like, but not necessarily make it like a.
Let's make it Baby's Kids live action with Ice Cube. I'd watch that.
God, there's so many things you could do. I think just seeing them at this stage in their life would be entertaining alone, because we know how they've approached things. I'm sure they've matured, they've grown over the years to suggest things as time has passed since the previous film. But why not? Why not?
Yeah,
I would check that out. So.
I mean, I love them. My only wish is they bring back Chris Tucker as Smokey.
Yes,
because it's been too long without him. As much as I enjoy Day Day, that's his name, right? Day Day.
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
As much as I like his cousin, I just feel like he's no match for Smokey. Anyways, moving on here. Speaking of relevant things, we're finally getting a third Gremlins movie, or possibly movies, because it sounds like Chris Columbus and Amblin are finally on board making feature films in the Gremlins universe. I know they've made the Mogwai show on Netflix, Max, but that seems more geared towards kids. So I'm hoping this will kind of get back to the adult themes.
It's kind of where the show came from, or where the series came from. The movies were like, there had to be kids who ended up seeing that in theaters or renting that VHS tape, thinking this, having one image of what the movie's supposed to be, and then all of a sudden it takes a horrible, terrifying turn.
Although I guess New Batch, the sequel, was a little more comedic and geared towards kids and cartoonish, but it still had that horror element.
Yeah, they got scared. Like once you got into angry mode, mean mode, like they look scary for little kids and stuff. But I don't know, why not? That could be fun.
I'm excited.
The other reboots in this sort of fantastical realm have done decent. I mean, the fact that Chucky's done as well as it has across between the series and the movies that they had to bring him back.
True.
I don't know. I miss the era of more common practical effects. So it'd be really cool to see something like that come back to the forefront.
I'm just happy to hear Chris Columbus is working on it, and it's not just someone else out of his hands.
Yeah.
So that I'm a little happy about.
That is cool.
Yeah. Speaking of a master craftsman making stuff happen, Sam Mendes has announced that his Beatles film is not a film, but more 4 films. Not only that, but they're all coming out in April of 2028. So they're going to be the first bingeable movies to watch in cinema. Could this be good? Could this be bad? Is it going to work? Is it going to flop? I don't know. I'm intrigued.
Interesting. Okay. I guess I still have questions about the format of this. So it's 4 feature-length films.
Each one about a different Beatle. They're going to cross-pollinate, I guess. I don't know.
Weird.
There's so much up in the air. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that. Who was that talking about? Was it Christopher Nolan talking about doing that movie where they would release it in the different perspectives? And
there was rumors that was happening with Tenet, but that never came to fruition. Yeah, but this is definitely happening.
You can't ask movie theaters to do that. That's ridiculous. And then it'd only be megaplexes.
Some sources are claiming, it's all coming out on the same day. Others are saying, it's going to be week by week. Either way, it's announced that it's definitely going to be all in April. So it's like, never been done before, and this could be potentially great, and this could change the game. Or it could be a major flop. It's a big risk. I really can't wait.
Oh, same here. I love the Beatles. I definitely go see this for sure. What I'm curious though, are what the numbers are going to be after all the films are released. Which is Paul and John going to be the most
movie
popular?
Gets released first? How do you choose?
John's first. Yeah, I feel like it has to be John. Paul right afterwards, because John at least founded the initial band, helped form that, then bringing Paul in, then George, then Ringo, then Pete Best, then swapping out Pete Best for George. So there's if they're going in that sort of order, starting way back then.
Right.
Anyways,
or is it going to be different
cool
genres or different like points in time throughout their legacy?
Eras, exactly. That would be cool. I want to see the different eras of the Beatles from their, grungy club playing days when they're just like on speed all the time and just trying to get their sets in, to their first American appearance, to the first like movie release, all the way to the very end, the rooftop show. They all have completely different feels and tones to their music in those phases. So,
and let's not shy away here. Sam Mendes is like a great director. I think he could definitely pull this off.
Yeah, I think it'd be really fun. I loved things like Across the Universe.
That was a great jukebox musical.
Yes. So
and they've announced the cast of this film, and it's phenomenal as well. You got Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney, Harris Dickerson as John Lennon, Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr, and Joseph Quinn as George Harrison. I mean,
I think there's pretty solid actor casting too.
But
listen now,
talent.
Their talent on screen is definitely going to carry that for sure. All it's going to take is a wardrobe and some hair adjustment. Some haircuts. Lack of haircuts,
or wigs or whatnot. Yeah,
they'll be set. They got that
right.
Maybe stop working out. Don't be so muscular. They're not exactly buff dudes.
Yeah, they're not. You know who I did like as the Beatles? Wasn't there the Beatles in Walk Hard? Like you had Paul Rudd, Jack Black. I want to say Jason Schwartzman and someone else.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that. That sounds
ridiculous,
believable. I can see that. I don't recall that specifically, though.
Fair enough.
Oh man!
All right, I have one more story here about a master filmmaker, Dennis.
What you got?
David Fincher may be reviving a canceled Quentin Tarantino movie. As we all remember, most likely, Tarantino announced that he was going to make a movie called The Movie Critic, and that was going to be his final film. It came very close to happening. It was greenlit. Everything was good to go. It was going to star Brad Pitt, but then he canceled it. Well, it turns out Brad Pitt, with the approval from Quentin, showed the script to his director pal, David Fincher, and Fincher took it to Netflix, and it looks like this could go. And not only that, but this is kind of a quasi-sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Brad Pitt is reprising his role as Cliff Booth, the stuntman.
Yeah. What's funny is I'm not sure. I feel like I read a different article, but covering the same story, of course, of the possibility of it being a prequel potentially, and then another thing mentioning that Quentin could still end up writing the whole thing. But
no, he did write it.
He did write it. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, it's already written.
Yeah. Well, then there you go. It's like we were saying several episodes back, or we've said multiple times over the course of the show. I totally see him delaying his final film, and then even after his final directed film, who's to say he won't stop writing? He's going to still write for other people.
Exactly.
So this could just be the beginning of that phase.
Exactly, and like Fincher, he's a fantastic director, different from Tarantino, but quality.
Yes, and I think that's what's going to look cool. Is you're getting a very different view, that very different visual style with Tarantino's writing. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. And I'll be the first to admit, I've done it on this show multiple times. I hate it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Saw it multiple times in theaters and just was bored out of my mind. But I loved the novelization because it dug so much deeper, and we got even future glimpses of Cliff Booth and other characters. So with all that knowledge of what Tarantino has written just in that novel, I feel like this could be a really, really fun movie to watch.
That's true. I mean, it's not surprising at all. The world is already that lived in and fleshed out. So I can go for it. Now, do you think he would do that to any other of his properties, any of his other films? I
mean, I was fingers crossed for the biggest thing that I really wanted to see, which they had a comic book, but Tarantino and who the fuck was the comedian? Gerard Carmichael were working on a script for a Django Zorro crossover. Ooh. That is one thing I really wanted to see because I love Django. Cool. And those two together, that'd be fun. Sick.
Yeah.
And not to mention, he talked about wanting to write a Star Trek movie, and that almost happened.
Yep.
So
Yep.
maybe once he's out of directing, that could be a possibility now too.
That would be cool. Oh man. Well, we know this isn't. We're not anywhere close to the end of Tarantino's career.
Not at all.
Racing the screen with his creativity. So, well, looking forward to that project for sure.
For sure. But I'm looking forward to doing a little thing called polls. All right, Dennis. Up first, on episode 211, you reviewed the latest Chris Pratt movie, The Electric State. So I wanted to know what the Toasties' favorite Chris Pratt film was out of Guardians of the Galaxy, the Lego Movie, Jurassic World, and Garfield. No, I'm kidding. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh my God. Well, I feel like I know what my answer is, and I'm assuming it's the same as yours, but Guardians of the Galaxy was... I feel like the first time we got to see Chris Pratt break out of the mold we're used to seeing him and really embrace an incredible character. That first time seeing it was just mind-blowing.
Yes, mind-blowing.
All about it.
And the rewatchability, the charisma, the charm, the likability, the relatability of his version of Peter Quill leaped. Now, did it feel like he's kind of just lived in that stasis in other films? Yes.
Yep.
But then when he goes and tries to be an action star, I'm like, I don't know. Or when he goes and tries to be Garfield, I'm like, I don't know. So something about Guardians. But I also loved him in the Lego Movie. And I liked him as Mario. And I liked the first Jurassic World, but I'm with you on Guardians. I'm talking too much. Sorry.
For sure. Oh, no. Because there's logic to all that. I mean, every one of these movies has made stupid amounts of money. So a lot of
say what you want, him being a sellout, him sucking, him being in everything. He's still a bankable actor, and he's great.
Yeah.
He's charming. He's a good guy. I miss Andy Dwyer, but hey, why not?
Me too.
Yeah.
So what do these silly toasties vote for? 100% Guardians, right?
20% for the Lego Movie.
Oh my God. It's already
20% for Jurassic World. 20% for the Super Mario Brothers, and 40% for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I was afraid it was going to be Jurassic World for a second. I'm like, no.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's oh, man. Well, at least Guardians is out on top. Still a lot closer than I thought it should have been. That was spread out than I
should have been 70 or higher, I think.
I think I agree with you, but that is the opinion of the masses.
At least
and we have
finally synced up with these votes for once.
And I wonder if people were also considering all of the Guardians movies, not just the first one.
But I guess you could say that about the Lego Movie and Jurassic World movies too.
True.
So I guess you had all that backstory. And I guess he was also Avengers as well. Yeah, he's had more time to grow that character. It starts
to dilute after, when it was like the 8th time we've seen Peter Quill on screen. I was like, oh God, okay, I get it.
Although I'm not gonna lie, I'm hoping that post-credit scene actually comes true from Guardians Volume 3, and we see Star-Lord do his own solo thing on Earth or whatnot. That could be kind of fun.
Sure. Okay.
With time away from the character would be nice.
Yeah. He's almost got to like fall back into it again. Or,
because we saw him kind of just be a regular person, just having a conversation with his grandfather, eating cereal, talking about mowing a lawn. It's like, okay, this is good. He's acquainting himself with Earth again. It's been 30 something years at least. So
it'd be interesting.
Up next on episode 211, I reviewed the latest Elizabeth Olsen film, The Assessment. So I wanted to know what the Toasties' favorite Elizabeth Olsen film was out of... Sorry, I lost my track here. Silent House, Old Boy, Wind River, and Ingrid Goes West.
Damn it. Here's another. I've only seen half of these.
Film biography is kind of limited somehow.
Which is wild, because I feel like you see her so much. But I guess, it's not quite as many titles. But I loved Wind River. It was a brutal, intense story.
I wanted to like Wind River.
That would have been my
Was that a Tyler Sheridan film?
Yes.
Written by him?
Yes.
Okay.
And in his his trilogy of like thriller films, because it was that Hell or High Water and Sicario were meant to be like
and then Sicario too, Day of the Soledad.
That
but
one.
I don't know if he wrote that.
Added, I think he wrote it, but he didn't direct it. Like he didn't have much else to do.
Yeah,
because that was the first one did so well. We want more of that. So the original intent was to never do a sequel to Sicario, but
although I heard it took like a different deviation from what the first was, but I don't know.
It was. I still liked it, but it was very different. I'm
kind of tossed up on these films, but I think I'm gonna go with the Old Boy reboot. Another case of it's almost a shot-for-shot remake, but it was still good. I liked Ingrid Goes West, but not as much as I wanted to. But let's find out what the Toasties had to say. 17% for Silent House. I'm kind of shocked. I hated that movie, so I thought maybe I'd get less. It's not bad. 17% for Old Boy.
Dang, Josh Brolin finding his way on the into the show again.
33% for Wind River, and surprisingly, 33% for Ingrid Goes West, a movie I didn't know people saw besides me. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I remember you were a fan of that one when you.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first movies of O'Shea Jackson Jr. that I saw, and it stars, of course, Aubrey Plaza. It has a fantastic cast, and I think also, fucking Captain America Jr. The what's his face's kid is in that as well. Good cast. Good cast. Can't think of names.
Okay, yeah.
Whew. Well,
nice.
This brings us to our final segment of the show, a little thing we like to call reviews.
Lights, camera, action, it's review time. Dennis and Adam, we gon' blow your mind. We're stepping up to the plate, ready to swing. Analyzing movies like a scientist would blame.
All right, Dennis, you are first
scientist.
As the bling, the bling ring.
I got some throwbacks this week, and up first is a classic that, I'll be honest, I've never watched like beginning to end, start to finish, not on cable, but like all the way through. That is Mr. Mom. That's right. This is the 1983 film starring starring Michael Keaton and Terry Garr, telling the story of a auto executive. He's an engineer. He helps design cars at this automotive factory in Detroit, Michigan, and he unfortunately gets laid off. Him and several of his coworkers at his level, and the guy immediately above him, played by Jeffrey Tambor, gives him the horrible news. So he jokes with his wife, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny? It's like, I bet you 100 to 1 I will get a job before you do." And first day she goes out for an interview, she nails it, and she's bringing home the bacon. Now,
in your face, Beetlejuice.
That's right. Now Batman's got to stay at home and raise the kids and enter uncharted territory, and of course, hilarity ensues. I will say though, it's still a very charming movie, although it's spattered with a little bit of sexism at the beginning. But that kind of forces the perspective of the respect of what's the partner was doing at home. And I like that we're kind of the movie does eventually break those barriers down. And it's just a matter of, that's just the job. Raising the kids, holding in the household is a huge duty in itself. And it's a very comical but heartwarming presentation of this story. Is it one that's entirely unique? No, but this is one that I think did it really well. And a lot of other movies have emulated since. And I still think it holds up pretty damn well.
Nice.
It's one of the things, though, the way it's shot, and maybe it was just how I watched it on streaming. It kind of reminded me of like watching a TV movie, not like as a mark against it, but the cinematography wasn't particularly daring. There wasn't no big wide establishing shots. Everything was pretty tight. Everything is at a medium sort of. Not that that's like a big mark against for me.
Sure.
It just, nothing was super attention grabbing. All of it is there in the cast. It's really just the performances that bring it there. The kids are great, hilarious. The sight gags are funny. All the physical comedy, and then as we were talking about before, practical effects. All of those props, they were funny. The Jaws, the vacuum, and the washing machine crawling across the floor, like silly things like that. I still had a great time though. I'm going to give Mr. Mom, which you can stream on Prime Video right now with very limited ads. I think it's like 2 commercial breaks. You can watch it there. I'm going to give Mr. Mom 3 slices of toast.
Not bad. And if you like that movie, he did a recent movie last year that I loved called Goodrich, which is kind of like a more modern version of it, where he has these 2 young twin daughters who I want to say are like 10 or 11, and his like younger wife from his second marriage checked herself into rehab, and he now has to kind of he was a workaholic at his like art gallery, and now he has to raise these kids, and he's having a hard time, and he relies on his like child from another marriage played by Mila Kunis. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to give a review of that movie, but it's pretty similar, but a little more grounded and modern sound of like what's going on here, and fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Worth checking out. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent there.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
All right. My first movie here for the episode is the new Rami Malek movie, The Amateur. All right. This is about a CIA decoder who's kind of nerdy. He's never really left his house, or well, he's left his house for work and whatnot. He has a wife, but his wife always goes on these work trips to other countries, always invites him, and he says, no, next time I'll go. Comes with excuses. He doesn't really interact with people from work. He's kind of a shut-in. And on one business trip, his wife is caught in a terrorist attack and taken hostage and gunned down. And the people at his agency, the CIA, know who did it, but they're not doing anything about it. And he gets pissed off about this and decides to take matters into his own hands.
Nice.
And essentially go after these terrorists himself with no experience. And it's a fish out of water story. Nothing new is really being done here. The story's been told a million times, but somehow it was riveting. And these acts of vengeance that he took upon these people were creative as hell and just so fun to watch. And he kind of blackmails his way into training because he gets some information on his bosses that would kind of jeopardize their career. So they decide, yeah, we'll let you train with this guy who's like the hardest trainer around, played by Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
And well, he ends up not fully finishing the training and jets off to the other country to do his business. And Lawrence Fishburne has to go after him. But they have this kind of buddy rapport almost, and the two have this fantastic, like, just their banter back and forth and the way they interact. Like, he's like, I don't know. It's really fun. It's an interesting movie. I'm going to give The Amateur 2.5 slices of toast. It's fun, but you know what's going to happen.
Okay. Interesting. It's funny enough. So just talking about Mr. Mom, the explanation reminded me a lot of that Michael Keaton movie, American Assassin. It was about what? A
little bit.
8-10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Obviously different angle, but that, like you're saying, the carving out your own revenge, even when it seems like the means are available to everyone else, kind of thing. But I like the cast, and Rami Malek is type of character sounds interesting because it's not one I would expect to do this kind of thing.
And I will say, the way he gets revenge is like very specific to his skill set of like being a decoder and the knowledge that he knows. And it's very creative and crafted towards his character, which I feel like in these movies you don't get. It's like normally just Jason Statham or some action star doing unbelievable stuff. And you're like, I don't buy that, but I buy the shit this kid does here, man.
Nice.
Kid, he's probably older than me. I loved it, man. It was a fun time.
Awesome.
Yeah. You got something a little different, but
I do. And keeping with the theme of some retroness here, we're going out almost a decade to 1992 from a little Eddie Murphy movie titled Boomerang. So this is another one of those where it's like I can recall seeing the movie poster a bunch. And it's one of the, like, there's so many big Eddie Murphy films. When you think of him, there's a laundry list of titles I feel like you think of first. This isn't one that I would normally think of. So I was like, you know what? I would love to give this a shot. I mean, it's a comedy movie. The cast is incredible. I mean, Robin Givens, Halle Berry, Chris Rock, Eartha Kitt, Grace Jones, David Allen Greer, John Witherspoon, Melvin Van Peebles is in there.
Nice.
It just like it's crazy. It's crazy how many faces are in this movie. Like how many people enter scenes, and sometimes it's pretty brief, but regardless, incredible casting right out the gate. We're getting a version of Eddie Murphy I feel like we don't see too terribly often, actually, to be entirely honest. He's smooth, suave, successful. His voice is being heard. He's an ad executive who put in charge of a very large ad campaign that's going out for a cosmetics company, where they're highlighting this very larger than life model who's just super over the top in not only how she enters a room, but the way she wants to sell a product and the way she behaves on the runway. He thinks he's secured the position as being the one in charge of the advertising agency, when instead who he thought he was warming up to doesn't have any say as to who gets this job. Instead, this other woman they bring in, who is a ringer, her and her assistant come in to take over his department, where at first there's some conflict. He finds he's falling for this woman, he's smitten for her, but much like him, she also sees doesn't really get into romance. There's always something wrong with the other partner. The fun for a fling, let's have our fun for now, let's not take it too serious and move on to the next thing. He's finally getting a taste of his own medicine, and we're seeing that slowly build up over the course of the film. Now, when I say slowly, I mean fucking slow. That honestly, right away, was the thing that, as I was being like dazzled with all the different cast members in this movie, and the chemistry between David Alan Grier and Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy being three friends that hang out together quite a bit throughout the film, it just takes fucking forever to get anywhere. Now, their banter is great. There's scenes where you can see the background actors just losing it because they're just improvising and shit, and they're saying some really funny stuff. But I'm constantly reminding myself, wait, what does this have to do with? Oh, wait, it has nothing to do with the plot. Who is he supposed to be starting to fall for? Oh, yeah, he doesn't. They don't even start getting together until way into the movie. It's 2 hours long. It felt like 3 hours long. Mind you, I was watching this on Pluto TV. There are definitely other streamers where you can watch it without ads, like Paramount Plus. But it just drags. And the pacing of the comedy wasn't so much that it's like a Beverly Hills Cop or a Nutty Professor, even, for that matter. It's much more the grown-up, very sexy, not even a rom-com. It's just like a adult comedy.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I don't even, it's tough to even categorize in that sort of manner. I had a hard time with this one. I wanted to like it more. Again, the cast is great. They all have moments where they shine. I think their chemistry works pretty well. But just it's one that didn't quite land for me. There's obviously there is a reason this movie isn't like on cable all the time, or this isn't the one that gets mentioned when you think of great Eddie Murphy movies. Man, I'm gonna give Boomerang 1.5 slices.
Oh,
it was pretty tough. I definitely had some laughs in there, though. Don't get me wrong. Some of the sets looked pretty cool. Some of the set pieces were wild. Grace Jones has this entrance where this helicopter drops. There's this big dinner party where she's making this great entrance. Helicopter drops a crate that she's inside of, but she's in a chariot that's not pulled by horses, but by like men in leather suits, and she's in this wild like S&M Cleopatra thing, and she's hilarious. The whole, like, she says some wild shit that I don't even feel comfortable saying in the show right now, but some clips that are definitely worth seeing in the movie. It's up to you, I guess. You let us know, actually. I'm really curious what you toasties have to say. Do you have fond memories of Boomerang, or is this something that was like, oh, let's move on to the next Eddie Murphy flick? So
yeah, no, let us know over at our socials. We're everywhere at movie_toast, or shoot us an email at movietoastnewsandreviews@gmail.com. And if you do let us know, we'll talk about it on the next show.
Yeah,
I want to know what you guys feel about Boomerang, where it ranks in the Eddie Murphy universe, I guess you could call it. All right, I'm going to move to something a little different from that. And by a little, I mean a lot. I'm talking about the new Amazon Prime Video original film G20. This is, of course, about the G20 conference, where all the top world leaders get together and talk about important things and this and that. And we're following the American president, played by Viola Davis. Yeah. And as she's there and everything's about to take off. Terrorists decide to crash the party, and she is taking it upon herself to help save people and to try to connect with their family because their family's there as well. And yeah, so that's the basic premise.
Okay.
This movie,
I'm in.
the plot is pretty subpar. The dialogue's mediocre, yet the action was fun, and it was engaging. Like it was kind of cool.
Okay.
As her husband, you got Anthony Mackie. It's always great to see him, and he's more of like a dad and like a supporting husband. Not really a funny guy, but seeing him do some action is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Viola Davis is a badass, owning her action scenes.
Nice.
I love that. As the villain, as the main leader of the terrorist group, we have Homelander himself, Mr. Anthony Starr.
Sick.
And he is just great. He's using, I believe, his actual voice, not an American accent. And yeah, the movie is fun. It's good. Does feel a little bit long. When you think it's over, it keeps going a little bit.
Okay.
It clocks in just under 2 hours. Would I watch it again? Maybe, but not right away. I'm going to give G20 2 slices of toast.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. That was one. She's definitely, she's a performer that extremely talented. I just was going back to look. I really liked how she carried The Woman King. That was a badass movie to watch in theaters.
I thought about that from your review. I'm like, she gets to play these really badass ladies that you don't get to see very often.
No.
Even her role as Amanda Waller, it's like, fuck.
Yes. Oh,
so
God,
devious and terrible, but you still love her.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Okay. Not so much get off my plane as it is stay out of my limo, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit more John McClane-y, I guess you could say.
I was going to say, it's how many presidents have we had who've saved the day? Not saving the president, you know? Not an Olympus to
like she is trying to help others. Like even chances she gets to like get out by herself, or if some people like, I'm not going with you, and she's like, no. You have to, like, she demands. She's not going to let people stay behind because she knows the danger they're in. And she is like trying to do the best for everybody. And it's a really rich character, I guess, she gets to play, which is kind of nice. Yeah. But you got something that's also a little action oriented, right?
Oh, yeah, you could say so. That's right.
Little free ball.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. So this actually was inspired by, we'd watched on HBO, they have this currently running series. What is it? Hollywood, I don't know, something about like bad people in Hollywood. I forget. I apologize. Forget the name of the show, but this isn't TV Taquitos here. There was an episode on the Power Rangers series though, and just the troubled history of the cast over the years. We've lost several members of the cast of the various shows, but there's this like mysterious. A lot of the Red Rangers have either died or gone to prison. Like it's kind of wild. The troubled history of our main our main cast, Jason David Frank and his brother, who was briefly on Power Rangers for one season. Anyways, I was kind of feeling nostalgic and I wanted to go back. I remember loving this movie as a kid. I had the VHS tape that I probably wore out at home. And I just have these fond memories of not only watching the movie, but just like having fun watching the movie. And I wanted to see if any of that still remained. Guess what? Not much.
Now you got to go watch Power Rangers Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, to get the fun stuff down.
Oh, there you go. That's true. True. Although I did like them turning into ninjas, especially the ninja.
That's
toys.
Badass.
And
Ivan Ooze?
Yes, Ivan Ooze is great. And the actual
badass.
Ooze, like they sold the marketing was great for this movie. They had cool toys. They had introduced some great cast to continue the series that unfortunately not all of them got to stick around for very long, but they're still good for what they did. And came back for that Netflix movie, Forever and Always. That was a fun little nugget there.
So can you jog my memory a little bit? What is the plot besides, I know Ivan Ooze comes back and they got to stop him, but what led, like, I completely, it's been so long.
It is so, okay. Literally just a construction company in Angel Grove digs up where he's at. And it's
So similar to what happened with Rita.
Rita and Lord Zed. Yes, exactly. Rita and Lord Zed have teamed up since it's the conclusion of season 2, I believe. And Lord Zed has been telling her about we got to go get this guy to help us. And Ivan Ooze is even so powerful, he puts them away and he shrinks them down and puts them into a snow globe. So they're like out of like the whole movie. And then once he's released, his whole thing is, I'm going to destroy Zordon, remove the Power Rangers from the equation, and I will take over the world. So it's that simple. Like, the Rangers then get transported to another dimension. They've lost their powers. They get transported to another planet where they meet someone else who's imbued with the same gifts that they are. And funny enough, maybe there's one of the many reasons I like this movie is not only just the fact they were Power Rangers, had a huge crush on Kimberly, the Pink Ranger, this lady that shows up at this other planet who's like half naked in this kids movie is just wild to me in hindsight. I totally forgot about that. Val and I were just like, whoa, I don't remember this being in here. It's a trip though. The music kicks ass. The action still looks awesome. And then because of the elevated budget, the special effects and things actually can look pretty cool. Now the CG has aged like milk along with the dialogue, but that's not why you show up for these kinds of movies. I still think there's some fun to be had. Clearly, it's more for the nostalgic value. I think it's worth going back to check it out again, and just seeing what they did with the resources they had. Hiram Saban. I mean, say what you will about the guy, but he was a shrewd businessman that took something that nobody thought would work and made it into an huge international property.
It's funny that you're reviewing this. Like a week or two ago, I went down this rabbit hole of like all the different pitches and attempts to bring the Power Rangers to life, all the different iterations and pilots and meshing of pilots. Like there's so much backstory and history and like things that they wanted to do with this franchise, and a miracle that it happened.
Oh, absolutely. It's I don't know, maybe it's too much of a tangent, but for those of you who don't know how the show originated, half of it is from a Japanese action show. It had all this footage of characters fighting in masked helmeted costumes, and all they did was reshoot any of this stuff without the costume on, rewrote completely different stories about these teenagers in a fictitious city in the United States, and here you have a whole new show. And you only needed to actually film half the show. And up to a certain point, a few years into it, obviously they then had to produce the entire series, both sides of it, but so much of it was drawn off of damn it, I forget the name of it. Super Senkai, whatever the original series was. Regardless, this movie is still fun, but it's a little rough around the edges. I'd say if you just want that nostalgic feel, make it into kind of a party with your friends or something, that would be a good time. But it's not like rewatching the remake from 2018. That movie kicks ass. Not the Elizabeth Banks one for sure. I'm going to give Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie 2 slices of toast. I still had a lot of fun watching it for what it was. The costumes were awesome. The sets were cool. The action is still really cool looking on screen. It just, it's not the highest quality of execution and script writing and telling a story, but I thought it was a fun ride. So, yeah.
Well, I have something a little more grounded, but definitely action-packed. I have the latest A24 movie, Warfare. This is a movie that is co-written and co-directed by Alex Garland, who recently did some amazing stuff with his last film, Civil War. But this is based on a true life event that came from the co-writer and co-director, a man named Ray Mendoza. So this is taking place in 2006 in Iraq. There's some Navy SEALs doing a surveillance operation in a house. And right before they're ready to kind of call it quits for the day, they're ambushed and attacked. And this is about them getting out of that situation and the danger that ensues from all of that. And it's crazy because the plot is kind of different from most movies, because this is a movie that takes place in real time, and you're not following a 3-act structure. You're just following real shit coming at you. And it feels realistic. It feels like you're in the room, in the house with these people, because the cinematography is just so kinetic and there's no soundtrack.
Nice. Oh,
and like
yes.
when like a grenade goes off or something happens and ears crack, you're hearing stuff echoed. It's insane, man. There's really no character set up to the characters or character development, because you're just thrown into this shitty situation and you're in it. You know that these guys are a troop, essentially. The movie feels raw and natural in the best kind of way. And it's just a tense pressure cooker of a film with fantastic performances. And like, there's so many performers in here that you'll know and love, like Will Porter, Joseph Quinn, and Michael Gandolfini and some other people, but they look different because they're all in the garb. They all have like shaved heads, but the performances are just so freaking good, man. Like, I'm not a fan of these types of movies normally, but when I saw the trailer for this, I'm like, holy fuck, that's so intense looking. And this lived up to my expectations and even might have like gone past what I expected. I'm going to give Warfare 3 slices of toast.
Badass, dude. Man, I'm pumped for this movie for all the reasons you just described, or why I want to go see it. So that's good news to hear. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And I have one more review here, if you don't mind, Dennis.
Hit me with it.
All right. I speak, of course, of the hottest film at the cinema right now,
Just
a Minecraft movie. All right, so before I get into it, man, let me tell you, this movie is like box office Viagra, man. I went to the movies the Thursday this movie opened to see it. The most packed Thursday I've ever seen movies, and I go to movies on Thursdays a lot. I went to the movies that Saturday, packed.
Nice.
I went to see this movie again on a Tuesday. I've seen this twice now.
Wow.
This weekend, still packed. Like, all different ages. Everyone is just flocking to this, and this is fantastic for what has been a very dismal couple of months or a year so far for the box office. But let me get into the plot of the film here. All right, so it's about a brother and sister who, along with 2 of their new friends, are transported to this other world known as the Overworld. But they want to go home, of course, because, well, they're out of place. But the only way to get home is by finding this mystical item that's across the map in a very dangerous location. Luckily, they get help from the only other human in the overworld, a guy named Steve. And as they go on this quest, they find out they're not the only ones looking for this device. There's an evil piglin witch who wants to get it to just unleash hell amongst the overworld and destroy it. So they got to stop her and get home. And I know what you're thinking. That sounds terrible. How the fuck is that a movie? It's a dumb plot. But by God, it's so fun, man. Like, it's insane. I've never played the game. I'm not gonna lie. I only went into this for Jack Black, of course.
Sure.
And I'm willing to admit his past couple of movies might not have been the best. Like Borderlands, terrible. But this, oh my God, man. So it's so smart and silly with their humor, and it'll please adults and children alike with different aspects. It has fantastic original music. Like my head's just been stuck on this song called Steve's Lava Chicken. It's always playing just nonstop in my head. And then there's a song called I Feel Alive that is also pretty great music. The sets are pretty cool. Like the overworld looks like you're in the video game, just like a more rich texture than just blocks. I mean, everything is blocks. And it looks like vibrant color-wise, but you're like, oh, this is cartoony and dumb. But once Steve goes into the Nether, which is kind of like a hell-like landscape, it's dark, it's brooding, it's insane. And once we're in the real world, there's this kind of weird look and vibe to it of its own, because this is a Jared Hess movie. You might know him from Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, and some other movies. And I'm normally not a fan of his films, but this movie really did it for me. And if you're a fan of the game, there's tons of Easter eggs scattered throughout the whole thing, which apparently people are going insane for. And
nice.
I'm not gonna lie, my number one flaw with this movie is at a point the guys and the girls get split up a bit, and the ladies get to do some fun things, but they're kind of sidelined. They don't get to do as much or as many thrilling things as the guys get to do, and I'm kind of taken aback from that a bit. And then the final act, there's a big fight scene. Every time I've gotten to that scene, and I've seen this movie in IMAX, I've seen it in 3D. Every time, and by that, the twice I've seen it, I have been bored and almost fallen asleep. It's like the movie is going, it's going, and then it kind of, I'm like, oh, this is the final.
But this is where you want to land at? Oh, that's too bad.
But then it does close off on a decent note. And I will say, even before they get to this world, it's fun. Like, I'd watch just these characters in the real world because it's that engaging and interesting. And Jason Momoa is having a blast doing it, and pairing him with Jack Black, the two are just like so in sync. It's fun and silly, and it's just a blast to watch. I really dug this. I'm not gonna lie, I could possibly see it another time. I'm thinking about it.
Dang.
I'm gonna give a Minecraft movie 3.5 slices of toast.
Shit.
I was blown away by it. Now, yes, there are negative things like off mic we were talking. You got the chicken jockey stuff happening, people losing their shit. Luckily, in my theaters, none of that.
It's pretty tame. That's good.
It's I'm happy to see people are getting excited, treating it kind of like it's a fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show, but it's like, have respect for everyone around you.
Maybe that should be in its own screening, you know? Like,
yes.
Hold those antics to their own, call it the fucking party along screening or whatever the hell. I get, like you said, I appreciate the enthusiasm, and I'm glad people are excited to go to the movies.
Yes.
But let other people go to the movies too. Do that in its own environment, because you're killing it for everybody else. No, this is one. I remember when they announced the movie, I'm like, what the fuck is that even gonna be? Because I played the game, and for a good couple of years at least, I'm a fan of it. I really enjoyed it. I like playing through the survival stuff. I never touched the Telltale Games story-driven things, so I don't know if there's references from those in the movie.
Could be,
but,
I don't know.
yeah, exactly. But I do like that visually. It's unmistakably that world. You know what I've seen in the trailer.
And that's kind of a cool thing. Like, even like me going in blind, not knowing it, they give you everything. They set you up with voiceovers and explain everything. And they set up every 20 minutes. It's nighttime. And like, you're not completely lost as an audience member if you've never touched the game. Sorry.
I have to ask strangely enough, one of my favorite things about this movie is the score from the game. Or sorry, the movie. One of my favorite things about the game is the score within the game. I'm curious if any of that translated into the movie. I imagine it's in. I'm
not too sure exactly, but I mean, there is a pretty good, fun score, and like I said, fun original music, and
it's because that's one of the things I liked about the game is that the music, or one of the things I liked about the music for the game. Jesus Christ, sorry, is it's this very melancholy, even toned sort of thing. It doesn't get too exciting, but it's not too downbeat either, and it's kind of.
I'm going to let you down by this. I'm going to say no. This soundtrack kind of has like an 80s kind of pop vibey sound to it.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Given who's in it and what's going on, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
If anything, there's probably a few like tones as an Easter egg somewhere.
Oh, sure.
And it makes sense.
There might be moments.
Song piece would be in there. Yeah.
Now, and that's the interesting thing. Like you said, what was this going to be like? There's been many iterations. Like there was like 5 to 10 different screenwriters that got credit, and it's like, but then you go and there was so many different people that were going to direct at different points. Hell, even I was reading before the strikes happened, this was gonna star Matt Berry, most famously of What We Do in the Shadows, as Steve, but he had to drop out, scheduling conflicts, but he does make a cameo in the movie somewhere. And like Jack Black was only supposed to play a piglin, and then once he kind of came on, they elevated they kind of crafted more towards him. And that might be what I love the most about this movie. This is the most Jack Blackian movie. Like, he gets just full reign to do his whole thing to like the craziest degree. And it's like no holding back.
Well, that's cool. It's
might
nice.
piss people off, but
I like, he's not just a voice, and he's not shoehorned into another character where he's then doing like the Jack Black thing. No, he's just doing it. Like, just unhook the leash and just let him go. You know, I'd like that idea. Because what even, you know, he's fun in Jumanji, but even then he's like playing
a character.
He's playing a character who's playing a character, which adds other layers to it. Still funny, but I like this idea. You know, the thing, what got us to fall in love with Jack Black in the first place, I imagine, is who we get to see here.
Yeah, and there's no holding back, which is fun. Cool. And like, I will say, stick around. There's a mid-credit scene, and then there's a post-credit scene that the audience, if you know the game, really dug what happened in the post-credit scene, setting it also up for another film. But yeah, like I said, box office Viagra. This movie had a budget of 150 million. Week one, globally, 300 million. As of today, almost 600 million. So within 2 weeks, or no, a full week, it's quadrupled its budget already.
Money back. That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Well, it's one of those double-edged sword movies too, I feel, where it's this definitely won't be the last property we see get turned into something like this. Yeah. Anytime soon. There's going to be a wave of these, I'm sure. I mean, in fact, I think that we're in the middle of one now. From Super Mario Brothers last year into Minecraft finally happening. You know, like I know we've got, I mean, shit, we just mentioned Death Stranding, and there's going to be more of these, but it's this niche of it being a family film that brings the whole family in and gets the whole family entertained. That's a hard one to hit. So,
and what I do like,
good on them.
What they did with this cleverly, even in interviews, Jared Hess said it's called a Minecraft movie because this is such an open world. They treat it kind of like the game. Like there could be other stories in the world, and it's not just the Minecraft movie; it's a Minecraft movie. So they can do endless possibilities with it.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Sorry, I went on a huge tangent on that one.
No. It's like you said, this is the biggest movie in the box office right now. It's having a huge impact. I think it's worth discussing for as long as we need it to.
Fair enough. Enough. Yeah.
It's interesting. He went from like the worst video game movie released last year to probably the best video game movie.
But that's the thing.
This year
went from Super Mario Brothers, killed it. Borderlands, oh boy, nobody needs to talk about that. And then this, it's like our buddy Rick reached out. He's like, "Oh, Jack Black should just do all the video game movies." I'm like, I mean, he's been in the biggest ones.
Yeah,
he's been in a flop, but
he should play Guillermo del Toro's character in the Death Stranding movie. You gotta take this, baby. Just you gotta save it.
And it was fun. Like, you do get to see him kick ass and be an action star a little bit, but that's more towards the beginning. So, yeah.
Which, hey, Tropic Thunder taught us anything he's more than capable of doing. So.
Definitely. I had a weird thing. Like, it's funny. Yesterday I was at a movie and I walked past the Dolby theater that I knew was playing it. But in my head, I was singing that Steve's Love. Oh, no, I was singing one of the songs from the movie. And I'm walking and I hear some like 10, 12-year-old kid go, "Excuse me?" And I'm like, hey, he's not. He's like, "Excuse me." He stops me. I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, do you think you could be Steve in a Minecraft movie? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this question is, man. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, I can see, I get, yes, I'm a fat white guy, but I don't have my beard anymore. But thank you. You don't know how much I liked that comment, kid. And it didn't seem like he was being an asshole. I was kind of flattered, and it was silly and sweet.
This kid's just excited. He's all caught up in the Minecraft mood, and
but then I kind of let him down, like, because he's like, "Oh, what movie did you see?" I'm like, "I came out of a nice Indian boy." He's like, "Oh, okay." But in my head, I'm like, "I've seen that movie twice. I know the movie. I'm singing the music in my head right now." But I don't know. I don't know your question.
I'm sorry. The phrasing of that's fucking hilarious. I came out of a nice Indian boy.
It is about a gay couple, so it kind of sticks to that. Yeah, no, the phrasing is a little off. Oh boy,
I remember seeing the trailer for that. That looked cute.
Good cast. Is Depender from Deadpool as the main character, and I feel like he's a lot of background actors as stars. Sorry, not getting into that. Sorry, but no, thank you for indulging me in that. I'd love to see your take if you see that. And I thought of you a little bit. His wolf best friend is named Dennis. So and there's a whole song about Dennis at the end.
Oh, cool. Oh, damn. Yeah. No, definitely.
I know that one sounds weird.
Double the reason to see it. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that brings us to the end, I think. But speaking of things to see, folks, we want to see your short films. If you have a short film, 15 minutes or less, please submit it to our 5th annual Movie Toast the Festival. Dennis, how can they do that?
You need to go wander on over to filmfreeway.com/Movie Toast the Festival, and you will find you'll know it's us because you recognize our thumbnail to our logo there. You will find the submission form there. It is a low cost, low entry festival. All of it goes right back into the production of it because we just want to make a fun and engaging show for you guys. Just not long ago, it finally sent off the trophy for last year's winner.
Yeah,
we keep up the tradition of the winner wins the coveted golden trophy or golden toaster award. And
pretty badass.
Maybe this year you could be the winner, but you won't know unless you submit. Regardless of genre, we just want something interesting, fun, edgy, whatever genre you think it belongs to. Even the unusual stuff. In fact, that's probably where we have the most fun.
We love
watching
those
things like that. So please head on over to filmfreeway.com/Movie Toast the Festival and submit soon.
And if you want more information on the festival, when deadlines are and whatnot, or if you want to get news blasted at you daily, or the different little reviews you don't get to see on or hear on the podcast, please follow us on our socials at @movie_toast. I'm going to say that again because it sounds like I had a stroke. At @movie_toast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, fucking TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, pretty much everywhere. Or if you agree with our reviews, if you disagree with our reviews, or if you just want to suggest something for us to watch, or if you just want to say, hey, please, we want to hear from you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then if, say you want to let us know what you think of the show, how the show's been going, please hit Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. Good, bad, up, down, left, and right, doesn't matter. We just want to know what you think and try to make this show as golden, delicious, buttery as we possibly can, just for you, the Toasties.
Yeah. But if you don't want to do any of that, we have one last request of y'all.
Please, out of anything, stay toasty. Let's try that one more time, friend. I know we got it.
We got it.
Stay
toasty. That was a little bit better. Son of a bitch.
Coast to coast from LA to the east on the podcast show, they feast on the beast. Adam's bringing knowledge like he's Professor X. Dennis with cuts deeper than Wolverine's claws. I guess Marvel, DC, they know them all by heart. Breaking down the plot, tearing every scene apart. They got the juice like Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Breaking down movies with a sharp precision. Adam coming in hot like a John Wick hit. Dennis bringing the heat like the climax of a Tarzan flick.
Oh man, it's crazy. I had some crossover from episode 211 in real life the last 2 weeks. Yeah. I was at Target, and every time I'm there, I keep seeing the stupid Mr. Beast fucking Easter egg peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
So I said, fuck it. I'll get one. I'll try it. I love peanut butter cups.
Oh, gave him money.
And that's exactly what it felt like eating that. Like, I took a bite. The chocolate's fine, but it's creamy, very fine. And I like creamy peanut butter. I don't like chunky, but it's too creamy and very salty and just so. I took too big a bite to spit it out, but it was hard swallowing it, man. It was rough.
Oh, man.
And then I think I had a flashback. I think I tried one before and just blocked it out of my memory. And so never again will I make that mistake. Luckily, I did buy the Reese's peanut butter cup version of them to wash it down with, but it was rough.
Classic. Yeah.
And then on our polls last episode, we talked about the movie Out of Sight and how we should revisit it and whatnot. And I was listening to an episode of Doug Loves Movies, and he asked for suggestions of movies, and like Jay Chandrasekhar. I'm butchering from fucking Super Troopers, Bearfest, Broken Lizard guy, director. Said he recently watched Out of Sight again and highly recommended it. I'm like, that's a sign. And it's on Amazon Prime. I feel like I
Oh.
got to get to it, man.
Dang, yeah. Maybe that's a tag team
Yeah.
for next week. That could be fun.
Yeah. And a little bit of crossover to this episode. I didn't. Well, I guess I convinced Sarah to watch like in Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, because she never watched any and asked about it. And seemed like she kind of liked it, but my favorite part was getting to the whole Peter Parker meeting his date's father, and the two having the tension. And just her, she's like, I don't know if he knows. And like, just the tension of like trying to hold back, like just watching someone for the first time go through that. I was like, it holds up.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little more Michael Keaton in there. That's great.
Yes. Although she was right. He looks fucking silly in that costume as the Vulture.
The Vulture's always one. I feel like no matter who's in it, no matter how you design it, it's gonna come off kind of weird.
Yeah.
The only like winged character I feel like that really pulls it off is the Falcon. Just because they make it so militaristic. Like even you go back to like X-Men, The Last Stand. And,
that was goofy.
Archangel. Yeah. I can't think of his name. Alpha Dog. Crap. The actor that played him. Anyways, he's great. He's an very, very, very talented. But it just looks goofy as fuck in that movie.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, wings are hard, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And here I'm just hoping for like when we get around to Gundam that like I want Death Scythe to not look silly. You know, like the Gundams that I liked as a kid, I hope they don't look ridiculous when they do.
I mean, you hope they got to make it look accurate to the anime, but I guess you got to make it wide to an audience.
All the basic ones I feel like are simple enough. The Leos and the Aries, and it's like they look cool enough on their own. But when you get to the Gundams, that'll be interesting. We're gonna get the chevron crown things on them, or are we gonna do the whole, like the classic, all the classic stuff, or are they? It's
funny though, like
modernize it.
A couple of weeks ago, I saw they put out the first 3 episodes of the new Gundam series, Quex. I'm saying which was fun to watch, and it's like a new spin on Gundam and whatnot, and kind of alternative to the story we know from the original series. But now that's finally premiering over on Prime, so I think I might check that out. Yeah. Whew. Well. And anything you can think of before we hit the old end stream?
Oh, well, other than it's always good. It's like I like this start to the week.
Right?
Getting the toast out there. It is like
it's
like the reverse of getting your homework done at the last minute,
I mean, although I'll admit I dread it coming out here sometimes. I'm like, oh, I'm so sleepy, or I don't know how it's gonna turn out.
Oh, for sure.
And then we get here and it's like, fuck, it's already over, man.
Right. It's like I was just feeling the groove of it and finally got to it. Oh, I will say I'm really excited for The Last of Us premiering
right now as we're talking. It's on,
right,
man.
Fuck. Right I was actually I got to that episode. We had it on in the background while we were like eating dinner and stuff, and got to that episode with was it Bill and Frank?
Yeah, I think so.
Still got me choked up, man. That just so beautiful and gut wrenching at the same time.
And two fantastic performers, Murray Bartlett and Nick Offerman. Oh man, killing it in that role.
It's so great. I still think it's probably one of the best episodes of the first season.
Definitely.
But, hey, we got now we got some season 2 action to dip into. It's probably what I'm going to do after we get off of here.
And I think they've already greenlit a 3rd season already before 2 already came out. So
yeah,
that's not bad news.
Nice.
Well, all right. Thank you all. We appreciate it.
Till next time, Toasties.